Hi there, thanks a lot for joining us today in this session. My name is João Mendonça. I know it's a very difficult name to pronounce, I've been told, and I'm currently the head of channels and strategic partnerships of Xray. Xray is one of the most known Jira apps currently in the Atlassian marketplace, but today we'll not go over Xray's functionality. We actually talk about a specific topic that I don't know if you heard about it already before or not. Maybe that's why you are actually here in this session. But we'll actually go and more detail about exploratory testing. What does it mean, and what are our opinion about it, and also our answer as a company to this specific topic that we've seen growing and more in the market. So, but before that, and very quickly, because we do have a lot of ground to cover in this session, I just wanted very quickly to talk a bit about our two products. So, the first one you already I already told you about Xray. The other one is Exporter. So currently our two products. Exporter is a really nice tool that allows you to extract and export information from Jira into some customized templates, and it will enhance quite a lot the native Jira functionality for this part. And with Exporter you are able to, of course, to customize a specific template and actually get the specific data that you want without having to tune the outcome of a Jira export. So you're just able to use the template. The template will contain the exact information that you need. You're just saving a lot of time by having the report ready to send out to either some upper management or to your customer. And of course, Xray and Exporter, they integrate. So Exporter is also able to get reports from the Xray information, in this case specifically about the testing part. In terms of numbers, just to give you a very brief information about, we have more than 5,000 customers currently trusting Xray. Some of them, as you can see, are already here, are really important ones that they already realize that Jira could be the central port of information. They can have both development teams and test teams working the same tool, and this is pretty much what you can see here. So Jira has been known as a very good requirement management and defect management tool, but it's missing quite a lot of functionality specific for test teams. So I wouldn't be able to actually create a test from a Jira issue. Well, I would, but it will require a lot of customization, and the end result will not be awesome. But Xray will be able to create test cases, create test executions, organize those test executions into test plans, create reports out of the results of those executions, and everything that I mentioned, a test case or a test execution or a test plan, that are all Jira issues. So the potential of customization is endless, and it's really cool because we got some of the Jira functionality for that, and teams, we've seen that more and more teams are actually looking at Xray as a really nice possibility, not just for manual tests, but also for to get their automated tests also in Jira, especially the results, and have, at the end of the day, what you want is look at the story and see immediately not just the status in terms of development, but also see the status in terms of testing. So the number of tests testing that specific story, and how ready is the story to be released or not, or if in this case you can see happy days and the story is good to go. At least the tests that were selected to be tested in this story are all passing, so we are good to go. So, and with this said, of course, our topic today, as you saw already when announcing this in the announcement for this session, is explore the unknown with the exploratory testing. And we'll try to understand exactly what exploratory testing means. I know some of you already heard it, some of you not really, have no clue what is it about. So this is you are in the right session to try to understand that. But before that, to quickly introduce you to our agenda, we will talk a very interesting example. Okay, some interesting topic that some of you knew or some don't. Then we will cover specifically the software testing, give you some definitions. What is actually testing? We'll talk first of all about script testing, and then go over what we considered exploratory testing, and give you exactly what is this and the approach. Of course, in one hand, script testing is when you actually doing and testing something following some script. Exploratory testing will be a bit different than that, and of course, in the end, our two topics we will introduce you our answer to this exploratory testing topic. Okay, so our team is about to release an app that actually can help testers when they're actually practicing the exploratory testing, and of course doing a demo and have some time for the Q&A session. Okay, so with this said, of course something is very I think this is common sense. Unknowns are for sure temporary. What we don't know today, for sure, our grandchildren will know in the future. So don't get me wrong. It's something that you should be aware of it. So what we don't know today, someone else will know in the future for sure. If something exists, it will be discovered. We've done that in the past. We will keep doing it in the future. And a very good example of this is the story that I want to introduce you. Something that really changed the world as we know it, especially medicine. So at 8th November 1895, Mr. Willem Röntgen, sorry for the mispronunciation, Mr. Willem Röntgen was a physicist, a German physicist from Würzburg, and he was actually on this day testing in his lab whether a cathode rays could pass through glass. And while he was doing that, he noticed some glow coming from nearby chemical coated screen. And because he didn't know what were those rays causing this glow, he called them X-rays. And of course, it was unknown nature. He just decided to call it X-rays. So these are the X-rays that we commonly know, not our X-ray, not the X-ray that is actually I'm working with. Okay, so and why this happened? So as you can see, Röntgen was working something completely different, and then he discovered something that on that time was considered a medical miracle. And X-rays soon become an important diagnostic tool in medicine, allowing doctors, of course, to see inside the human bodies for the first time. So on that time was, if you wanted to see what's inside someone, you had to open up. There was no other option. And with this discovery, the X-ray discovery, it was able, medics and actually doctors were able to actually see through skin. And as you can see, Miss Röntgen was happy enough to actually provide her hand to be tested, and here you have the first X-ray taken on Mr. Röntgen's wife on 22nd December. And of course, I don't know it was exactly because of this, but it was a cause for his Nobel Prize on 10th December. Okay, so, but with all this said, was this a matter of luck? Was this discovery from Willem Röntgen something completely out of the blue? Was it fortunate only? Well, Seneca says that luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Same goes with Louis Pasteur, that he says that in the fields of observation, chances favors only the prepared mind. And let me introduce another concept here, which is serendipity. So, what is the difference between luck and serendipity? So luck is something that happens when happens to someone by chance, something random, while in the other hand, serendipity finds something valuable, and of course it's something that you are looking for. You are looking around. That you are actually creating opportunities for this good luck, and actually was caused by careful observation, background knowledge, many tests and variations of these tests. And we do believe that this was actually what happened to Mr. Röntgen on that time. It was not just pure luck, it was actually working to get that discovery. It was not looking for it, but it happened because he did something for it. But before we talk about software testing, we have to talk about product nowadays. So products are getting more and more complex, and we are trying to answer the needs of a more complex and competitive environment. Whenever we make a product, we have to have in mind, for example, that we try to deliver better products and as fast as we can. That we are ensuring that we are actually implementing the right features on the right timing, and that are actually matching the right needs from our customers. For that, we have to have actionable information such as bugs and understand also the gaps in our product. And this it comes with information and the constant search for an understanding, not just about our product, but also about what surrounds it. This is available because testing is getting more and more continuous throughout this process. That's why we are calling it omni-testing. Testing should be present in each stage of the development process. If we look at some definitions from several authors, we can clearly see some common words here. So for example, investigation, learning about through exploration and experimentation, the factor of reducing risks is getting more and more important. And as you can see, also getting new information, not just about, as I said, our product, but also what surrounds it. If we take a look at our own definition, in this case by Sérgio Freire, our solution architect, testing is a targeted process of challenging something and our understanding about it. So it's not just about us testing our product itself, but also to test our knowledge, to test what we know about our product and what surrounds our product. For that, the tester needs, of course, some specific skills. Testing does not provide quality per se, however it provides actionable information that can be used in order to build the quality we seek. On the other hand, testing is a way of assessing that quality. Quality is quite subjective, and it depends on what we value the most in our product. So it could be performance, stability, scalability, etc. And in this process, you can clearly see that first the tester is able to collect this information to test our product. If everything goes well and he has the right tools for that, he is able to actually provide feedback on what he just tested, and hopefully that feedback will then be executed in some changes of our product, changes that will accelerate the delivery of value to our end users. But when we look over the script testing, we can immediately see that I think it's a very common sense, at least what it is of course are actually when all our tests, when we are just testing a script, something that we are following, a test that we are following some specific steps, when all of those steps are passing, does it actually mean that everything is okay with our product? What about the usefulness of that specific feature? What about the relevance? What about the risks of implementing such feature? What about the unknowns that are around that specific feature? The gaps that we are not actually covering on those specific scripts, on that specific test cases. What was the tester? Sometimes it doesn't even know what was the original intent to create that specific script. So as you can see, in one hand, everything that specific test is passing for sure, but there are some other questions that are important enough for us to actually make them. And when we actually compared script testing with this new topic, exploratory testing, we can clearly see that script testing is about following a script and verify if the expected results are the actual results or not. While in the exploratory testing, it's a lot more about, as the name says, explore and actually make discoveries about our products. For example, in the script testing approach, I will test the addiction with a few numbers and verify if they are okay or not. While in the exploratory testing, I would sum two numbers, I will actually then sum the different order, and then I would even subtract one from the result. I could even discover that subtraction was not supported. So this will be something that will never be discovered and tested by script testing, because it was not predicted in the beginning. It was not in the script. And when we see the different outcomes, we can see that clearly the script testing is a lot more objective, while in the exploratory testing is a lot more subjective. While script testing is about pass or fail some given result, in the exploratory testing is about having the quality assessment of our product, and even if the tests, what is the test coverage that we are currently doing. So And if you go over the exploratory testing, what are the main characteristics of exploratory testing? Of course, it is used to uncover what we don't know at this time. So usually test teams that use the exploratory testing as part of their testing activities want to know exactly what are the unknowns. They don't have any expectations. They have some guidance, some specific session they would like to produce, but every test session is different from the previous one, which enable the learning process. The tester will always have an opinion about things, an opinion about the software that he's testing. So his brain will always be working. He will be able to learn and iterate after this learning process, and of course it always happens in real time. So the exploratory testing is something that happens on that specific moment, and the tester is completely open to explore this feature and not just following the scripts that are coming for either him producing or someone else has produced those specific steps or scripts. So, but what are the challenges of exploratory testing? I would say that those challenges somehow rise from the freedom and the knowledge of the tester himself, and from some lack of structure. So from a management perspective, it's really important to have some planning, to be able to track the progress during that exploratory testing, and of course to audit what was discovered during this progress. In order to have some structure around it, usually exploratory testing follows an approach such as a session-based test management. The idea here is to actually to provide and to delimit the exploratory session, having some planning with concrete goals and also priorities, execute a report of what was found, of what was done, and measure the progress, and to be able to audit that specific reporting. Of course, as we saw before, feedback is something really in process in whatever testing we do, and to understand, of course, be able to evaluate what was done and understand the high-level progress in some giving time period. So, is there any tool to perform exploratory testing? So this is something so subjective. Is there something that could be used? So I know for script testing, you just follow what's in your test case. What is the script in your test case, in your test management tool? In this case, hopefully in Xray. But with exploratory testing, there's no really a tool for that. So the main tool is, of course, the tester's brain. A human brain is awesome. It's an awesome tool, and it should be the go-to tool whenever you want to perform not just exploratory testing but other kind of activities. And of course, software tools are not essential, but can help automating some tasks. Some of those tasks that we covered that are about creating a process, document that process, and actually share that process so that you can get some specific outcomes. It's really handy to have a tool that enables you to automate some of these tasks. Okay, so that while you are doing exploratory testing, you are 100% focused in explore that specific product or that specific new feature, and save some time for that, while a tool should provide and do all the rest. And by having this in mind, we decided to have our own Xray exploratory testing app. With this app, of course, it will help a lot in this session-based exploratory testing, especially with note-taking. So the ability to create screenshots, add ideas, questions, comments, and those visual annotations, but also get recordings of all the process that I did, of all the session that I did while exploring my product and doing those tests. And of course, being able also to create bugs out of it. This tool is completely independent for Jira, but of course it will gain a lot more functionality when integrated with Xray and with Jira, because then we will be able to actually pass all the stuff that you created with the app to Jira, and even be able to report bugs. But better than me to talk about this product, I invited here our head of sales, Elder Biscaya, and Elder will be the one actually giving you a very short demo about our exploratory testing app, and for sure in the end we can have some questions about it. So Elder, please go ahead.
Thanks a lot, João, and hello to all of you attending the session. My name is Elder Biscaya, and I'll be demoing our exploratory testing application. Let me bring up the application here, and I'll be demoing this in standalone mode, but the true power of this is really evident when you connect to Jira instance. For that, all you have to do is come to the application settings and just simply connect to your Jira instance. So let's start off by creating a new session in standalone mode. There are a few things you have to fill in, such as the title. Let me put a title in here. Also, the charter. You wouldn't have to fill this in if you were connected to Xray itself. It would fill it in for you. So here's the charter, what we're expected to do during this exploratory testing session. And you can also put in preconditions. I'm not going to put any in here, and we're ready to start the session. But before I do, let me just bring up the site that we'll be testing. It is a national lottery site here in Portugal. Great site, but I know there's a few problems with it that we'll be testing. So let me start the session. All I have to do is choose which window I want to do the session in. And as we can see, the timeline is still empty. And let's see what we have to do in the charter here. And the first thing is just to check if everything is nicely visible. We certainly see that everything is correct. We are able to bring up the login screen. It uses a virtual keyboard, so it changes these the places of the characters every time we log in. Let me just put the user. And it seems that everything is okay, so I can certainly take a screenshot here, bring it up, it's my other screen. Here's the screenshot. I can certainly add a comment to it. Let me just cut and paste here. And also say that it is positive. So this is part of my first part of the test. However, if I resize the screen, I will notice that I have a small issue here with the virtual keyboard. It doesn't scroll, so I'm unable to modify my password if I want. So instead of taking a screenshot and describing all this, I'll just go ahead and record a small video snippet for here and show this. This will certainly give the developers a lot more information regarding what is not so good about this particular case. So bring up the video, also put a comment in here, and there we go, and mention that is a concern. I'm not going to say it's a problem, I'm just going to concern, maybe there's a way around it, or maybe it's just in this particular browser, and close that. So to finalize, let me just take a note here. By the way, audio clip will be available shortly. Just put a note in here. In and just classify it and close that off. And I think we're done. Here's the timeline. We've taken a screenshot, we've taken videos, and let's end the session. So now that I've ended the session, I can certainly still edit this, maybe remove some things that I've done, maybe reset and start over, resume it, or even create a whole new session here. But I'm done for now, so I'll go ahead and finalize this. So let me bring this up again. It's always showing up in the same screen, different screen. Where do I want to save the report? It will save a compressed file. And let me just grab the file here that was generated. Here it is. And before opening it up, let me close some of these windows. I'm going to close the session. I can save it. I'm just going to discard it. I really don't need it anymore. And open up the compressed file, I should say. And here it is. I see screenshot and video directory where everything is stored. Let me open up the report that was generated. Here it is. It gives me information, well, the timeline, of course, information when it was started, details about the charter, the title, and so forth. And as we scroll down, we certainly see all the steps that we took as we went along during the session, including, of course, the final note that we have here. Let me just take an extra minute to show you this integrated with Jira and Xray. This is where the true power of this all comes together. So I have a story. I've ran this in the past, so I'm just going to show you the results. I have a story, which is a user must be able to log in. This particular story is being tested by two tests, a cucumber test and Selenium that would test this login process. Now note that it did not detect this error. And I also had the same exploratory test that was run, and it certainly detected this problem here. So if I go into the exploratory testing session that was carried out, you can see that it belongs to a couple of plans here. Here's the execution that I did carry out. Let's have a look at that execution. You will see here that we're able to launch the exploratory application directly from within Xray. Here are the results, also a screenshot video. I did create the bug directly from within the application. Very, very useful, this. But I'm going to have to terminate since I'm running long. Let me just close some of these windows and get this uncluttered. I hope it was evident how powerful this is when integrated with Xray and Jira. And I hope you found the whole session useful, and please start using this exploratory testing application. It is a great application. So with this, I'm going to hand it off back to João, and thanks a lot. João?
Thanks a lot, Elder, for this awesome demo. As you can see, this tool complements quite a lot what Xray already offers. And as a final thought, please observe, dare, and learn, and repeat. These are, I would say, the common objectives of exploratory testing, because the truth is out there. We just have to discover it. I don't know if we have enough time for questions or not. Really sorry for this long session, but if there are any questions, please let's go ahead.